It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Keatsman, and we are so back in so many ways. In the golden age of Trump, baby. Winning everywhere, including Arrowhead Stadium, where I've never seen such a complete and thorough beatdown from one NFL team to another in every phase of the game. That score could have been 61-0, not 31-0 if the Chiefs wanted to, but they were pretty nice to the Raiders, as Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning coaches are to one another, and the Chiefs get an easy win. And as we said right here on Uncanceled, after the Jacksonville loss, the Chiefs are getting better. And we took call after call after call, and I said, here they come, Mark. Here they come, buddy. How great was that?
Once you get Rashee Rice back, it's a Super Bowl winning team. That's what I thought all along.
Well, they might have won 31-0 yesterday without Rashee Rice.
Yeah,
but yes, I think the most amazing part of this story is the defense. What they did to the Raiders, you don't do in NFL games. You just don't do it. You hold a team to. The Chiefs had more yards on their opening drive than the Raiders did the entire game. That's impossible. I'm watching all these other teams. Nobody plays defense, right? Well, you can play a crappy team and your defense looks good. There's plenty of those games. You know, you put the Panthers up against somebody real, the Jets and Panthers. The defenses apparently look good, but that's because the offenses are so bad. But man, this was something else. In 30 minutes, Stan Weber will join us. He is he's easily Kansas City's foremost authority on football at every level. And we'll talk with Stan Weber, who will also guest host Uncanceled 1 week from today, as the Chiefs will be playing the Commanders that night. And he'll lock in on football for you. So we got some fun coming up with Stan in a little bit. Also, we have a couple of great stories out there, including our picks. Really good job, Mark, over the weekend. We got our picks. We'll brag about that at the end of the show. Mm-hmm. We're up to 9-5 on the year with our dead stone cold locks. Yep. I love that. And truckers in America are getting rich. We've got a great story for you later. We start today with one that I can't even remotely figure out. How in the world can a human being in the United States of America right now climb up in a tree right next to the Palm Beach International Airport within a few hundred yards of where Air Force One parks and Trump gets off on the steps and build a deer stand in the tree? When I first heard this story, and it's not getting that much play, this is the single most alarming thing for America. We're going to have chaos if somebody kills Trump. I'm telling you right now, the number of people trying to kill the president of the United States, citizens and non-citizens, is at an all-time high in my lifetime. Now, I was born after Kennedy was shot, but I don't think there were that many people trying to kill Kennedy then. This is unbelievable, the culture we're living in. We saw the No Kings rallies over the weekend where a Chicago teacher violently mocked Charlie Kirk's death by acting like she was shooting herself in the throat. She needs to be fired. We saw another person in Chicago making threats on a megaphone calling for people to kill Trump. We saw people in shirts that said 8647 at No Kings rallies. They were mostly just complete and utter hippies from the 60s with nothing better to do because they don't have any grandchildren or great-grandchildren. And they thought, hey, this will be fun. Let's get some coffee and go to the No Kings thing on Saturday. Great. Knock yourself out. Most of the people are harmless. But they're clearly creating a strange culture. And how this happened, I thought, okay, there's a deer stand in a tree, and there's a view of where Air Force One parks and the steps where Trump gets off. I thought, how about the Secret Service? They caught this within a day of it happening, or 2 days of it happening. They have determined it has been in the tree for months. Now, what they haven't said is it's been there for 100 years since before the airport was built. That's a whole different deal. But if it's really months, somebody went to the trouble to do this and is maybe chickening out. There is no legal hunting next to the Palm Beach Airport. I can promise you that. You shoot a squirrel with a pellet gun and you're going to get cited. There is absolutely no reason for a hunting stand to be up in that tree next to where Trump gets on and off his airplane. And I'm asking myself, as I hear this story, the question about Trump, because I think Trump feels like he's a cat and he's got 9 lives, that he got shot in the air and God kissed him. I think he believes all this. I think he's become, I don't think he's deeply religious, but certainly more of a believer than he ever was. He's a better person, better man, better family man than ever before. All these things are true. But I do think he believes he's invincible. And with all these attempts on his life and how close people are getting to him, I know he's asked the Secret Service to do better. And they did a nice job finding this thing, but apparently it's been there a long time. Has he ever sat down with his people and said, I don't know what the budget is, I don't know what we're spending, and I don't want to make this about me, okay? But we need to do more while I'm president. This is a considerably different threat for whatever reason, whatever they've done on the left, whatever they're inspiring people to do. This is a different threat than even Reagan, who was shot, or people who didn't like Obama, or whatever may be the case. There's always a Looney Tune out there that maybe just goes psycho. Most of the people through the years that have tried to shoot the president have just been unstable people that wanted to go shoot the president. That's not what this is now. Now it's people who have to stop the president politically because they think what? Oh, he's the king of America. He must be stopped. He's oppressive. He's taking our freedoms. You ask those people at the rallies what freedom they've lost under Trump, and they can't answer the question. They don't know what to say. What freedom have you lost? Well, it's not me, it's other people, is typically the answer you get at one of these rallies. It really isn't affecting my life. Trump isn't doing it to me, but it's other people, because they've all convinced themselves that somebody else is getting screwed over because of their sexual identity, because of their skin color, because of their religion or where they're from, that they're oppressed. And Trump is taking their freedoms away. These people on the street making all the racket aren't saying their freedoms are gone. They're clearly free to stand there and do what they're doing. What freedom have they lost? If Trump isn't stopping the rallies as a king, what freedom have you lost in this country? This whole thing's absurd. But these people are getting harder and harder to believe in when it comes to what they will actually do versus what they say. And I'm sorry, I just think it's a really big deal. I cannot believe there was a hunting stand in a tree next to the Palm Beach airport. I cannot get my head around that story at all. It really bothers me. It really, truly bothers me that I think he probably hasn't said to his people, we need to spend more, we need to do more, we need to expand the perimeter. Whatever it normally is for a president, we need to double that. Whatever the perimeter is, let's double it out. We've got to find a way. Because it even if the person who built the thing isn't the one and somebody just knew it was there, like, what if was it Ryan Routh? Is that the guy's name that's in jail that was on the golf course?
Yep.
What if he knew that thing was there? That's a lot easier than climbing under a bush and waiting by the golf course, I think, if he's any kind of a marksman. So they're turning the plane around now, and Trump is using the small stairs on Air Force One because we didn't know a deer stand has been a tree right by where he parks. And the Secret Service is now saying it appears to have been built months ago. I can't even believe it. They got to try harder. They got to try harder with this president. Because this president's trying hard everywhere. And it's not just Democrats. He announced over the weekend that he's going after Colombia. He blew up another boat in the Caribbean. Trump is he's the official pirate of the Caribbean because he's just blowing stuff up all over the place. They blew up this submersible boat. I don't know if you've seen them. They're boats that go underwater, but they're not typical submarines. They're not way down, but you got to work hard to see them. But we found one and blew the smithereens out of that, and apparently only half the people on board died, and we apprehended the others. There's no question they were all running drugs. That's done. But he sent a message on social media to now Colombia. It's not just Venezuela. It's the country of Colombia. President Gustavo Petro of Colombia is an illegal drug leader, strongly encouraging the massive production of drugs in big and small fields all over Colombia. It is the biggest business in Colombia by far, and Petro does nothing to stop it, despite large-scale payments and subsidies from the United States that are nothing more than a long-term ripoff of America. As of today, these payments or any other form of payment or subsidies will no longer be made to Colombia. The purpose of this drug production is the sale of massive amounts of product in the United States, causing death, destruction, and havoc. Petro, I always love this one, a low-rated and very unpopular leader with a fresh mouth toward America, better close up these killing fields immediately or the United States will close them down for him. And it will not be done nicely. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And he means it. And these people want to kill Trump in the worst way, too. Venezuelan cartels, gang members, druggies, Colombian warlords, you name it. Imagine if they had an operative on the ground somewhere in South Florida that knew there was a hunting stand in a tree near Air Force One, which clearly the gangs didn't know because nobody tried anything from that thing. The threat is real. It's getting bigger. He doesn't seem to care. And you can call him a king if you want. But what Donald Trump is the leader we've been waiting for our whole lives. He is absolutely fearless. Every move he's making is right for America. And he doesn't seem to care or value his own life that much when he probably should be on a golf course or a beach somewhere living out the good years as a billionaire. And he's not. He's constantly at threat. And he will have that the rest of his life. After being president, he's going to be a massive target as well. 913-408-7957. That's 913-408-7957. If you'd like to join us, we'll take your calls next. Dan Weber will join us in about 15 minutes. You're listening to Uncanceled. This is KCMO Talk Radio. Well, what do you know? I touched a nerve today. Everybody wants to chime in on this topic, so let's do it. Let's not waste any more time. Steve is in the Northland today on KCMO Talk Radio. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hey, pretty good, and thanks for having me. But, hey, listen, with regards to, taking out these drug boats, these SWIFT boats that are being used to smuggle drugs, 100%, absolutely, that's what we should be doing, and that's what our Coast Guard should be doing. I'm more concerned with regards to Maduro because they've got all kinds of oil, and they also have rare earth minerals. And I hope this is not being used to try and muscle in on his oil and rare earth minerals. They've got lots of gold reserves there as well as these other rare earth minerals. And that's something that we could use.
It's always dirty sounding to say that a president of the United States wants regime change. It sounds unfair, but I don't think there's any question they want regime change in Venezuela, all right? There's a $50 million bounty on this guy's head. Like, if you and I could go get him and bring him here, we could each have $25 million. Like, that's how bad they want Maduro out.
Yeah.
So it's a different deal. I think they do want a regime change, and I think they want everybody in Venezuela to see that it's falling apart on him, and they want it to happen organically inside Venezuela. And it probably will. I mean, the pressure has to be immense at this point.
Venezuela, by rights, should be an affluent, wealthy society.
Yes.
Because they have the natural resources to do that.
Yes.
And those people shouldn't be suffering that way. So go ahead. I appreciate your show. Keep going.
Nice job, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate the call. As always, here is Wes. We got Wes on the line. What's up, Wes? How you doing?
Yeah, good. So I saw that story about the deer stand yesterday on Breitbart. And Kevin, thanks for bringing it up because my first thought is, what the hell, man?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, first, the Secret Service lets that guy shoot him, and the way that thing went down, man, you can call me a kook, but there's just something didn't smell right about that whole thing. Then they'll let the Ralph guy, and now this, the Secret Service budget is $3 billion. You probably know more about this, but did anybody get fired because of what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, the leader of the Secret Service was changed. They put an interim person in, and then that person's out, and Trump has his own guy in. Trump's got his own people there. It's not about the people now. What I'm asking is, has Trump looked at him and said, we need to do double what we've done before because I'm the president, which is probably a hard thing to say to other people, but let's be honest, it's true.
Well, yeah, I mean, somebody's not doing their job. Whoever was in Butler that day that he got shot, every one of those people, I don't care who they were, should have been fired. Every one of them should have been.
The guy that picked him up off the ground and jumped on him in the famous photo, the fight photo, is now head of the Secret Service. That's Trump's guy. So he was there, but he wasn't in charge.
Well, but everybody else who was there should have been fired, man. And then look at the way that they whitewashed that guy that shot him. I mean, we still don't know anything about that guy, man. And now they let a deer stand get built 2 months ago. That's
crazy.
That's just incompetence, man.
It is.
Totally.
Wouldn't you think, even like in a busy place like that, if somebody were up there building a deer stand, like maybe a passerby would be like, what's going on over there? It wasn't like this was out in the Everglades somewhere, surrounded by alligators.
A deer stand there is a turd in the punch bowl. It is, Kevin.
You're right.
You know the area.
You're right.
There's no deer hunting in West Palm Beach, Florida.
No.
what the hell? I mean, this stinks, man. Somebody should go down for this because that's a bunch of crap, man.
I'm with you, buddy. Great call, Wes, as always. Thank you, sir. Take care. He's awesome. Steven's in KCK. Good morning, Steven.
Hey, Kevin. Good show today.
Thank you, buddy.
My comment about the no kings thing is I think it was noteworthy and interesting because of who was not there. There was no Sharice Davids. There was no Mayor Cuball. There was no Laura Kelly. You'd think those people would be running to the podium to address their constituents, their core constituents. I mean, nationwide, it was all of the minorities seem to be sitting on. Charlie Hurt kind of alluded to this on Fox yesterday. All of our powerful minority groups were kind of sitting on their hands. Maybe they know this is going to end up like BLM stealing all the money, at the end of the 2020 Summer of Love. But I think it's extremely interesting that all of those people are basically sitting this way. Trump can't be that bad if everybody's sitting it all out.
I would like to think what we're talking about here is anybody really with a brain does not think Donald Trump is a king. And I would like to think some of the politicians that you've referenced already would say, you know what? I appreciate people aren't happy and don't like the president and they want to protest the president. They have every right to do it. But making like he's a king is just absurd. Who would be involved in something that silly?
Well, and Laura Kelly is a so-called moderate, and Sharice Davids is talking about running for governor now or running for Senate. I mean, wouldn't that be an interesting thing to just sort of say, hey, this guy is not a king. We all know it. We all know this is a charade. We all know this is dangerous potentially. I mean, I just think for politicians that are quote unquote to see themselves as moderates, even the mayor, I guess, sees himself as a moderate. So,
well, he announced. Thank you, Stephen, for the call. He announced last week on Pete Mundo's show, Mundo in the Morning, that Mayor Q has announced that he is now a fiscal conservative. I don't know if you missed that or not. They're $100 million short on their budget, but he's a fiscal conservative. That's what we heard from Mayor Q last week. Right on cue. Here is Ron in Baser. Good morning, Ron. How are you today?
Good. Hey, yesterday I think I read something from, or last week from Jeff Childers about the Secret Service, and he was saying that that Trump tried to get rid of the DEI hires in the Secret Service and was unsuccessful. And so his response was to assign those agents to Clinton, Biden, and Obama. And apparently they're not very happy about that. But I just wonder if you could maybe look into that.
I will look into that. That's the if that's true. If I can find that, I'm going to lead with that tomorrow. I love that story. I'm going to look that up, man.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
That's fantastic if that's true. Look, I think Trump's got his arms around who's working in the Secret Service. That's not my point. My point is, do they need to double what they're doing? Extend every perimeter, every sweep. Are they doing enough for this particular president? I don't question whether or not they have the right people at this point. He knows what he's doing. All right, Stan Weber's going to join us next. How about those Chiefs and Missouri Tigers? We're talking football on Uncanceled. I spent a lot of years on radio with our guest today, the great Stan Weber, a dear friend, most knowledgeable football analyst you will find anywhere. Many years on air talking about how bad the Chiefs are and what's wrong with them and how can they fix it. And now today, this is just a whole new world. Stan Weber joins us now. Stan, is that the most complete Chiefs game you have ever seen?
It's possible. It's not the most important because it's not at a Super Bowl or a playoff game. Don't get me wrong. It's not the most important, but complete, yes. Touchdown drives of unbelievable long distance with complete efficiency, 8 to 10 yards or more on every play, a multitude of styles of moving down the field. Patrick Mahomes in complete control, and the defense just stuffing him. 3 and out, punt it back. 3 and out, punt it back. 4 and out, punt it back. Only 30 plays run all game long by the Raiders. Completely dominating on the defensive side. Man, hard to believe. First shutout ever in regular season with Andy Reid as a head coach at either Philadelphia or the Kansas City Chiefs. But the offense is on fire.
First downs in this game, 30-3 in favor of the Chiefs. Time of possession, 42 minutes to 18. Yards, 434 to 96, but the Chiefs could have had 600 yards in this game if they'd chosen to. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's the fewest plays snapped by an NFL team, the Raiders, in any game in 25 years. And Patrick Mahomes becomes the first quarterback in 25 years to throw for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns on his first 3 drives of the game. It's insane. It was just right from the beginning. You're like, so I'm watching. We went to the game with another couple and their kid, and my buddy Cato, who you've met before, is like, wow, the Raiders are bad. He just kept saying the Raiders are bad. I said, yeah, they're bad, but they're an NFL team, and they're not the worst NFL team. The Chiefs are really this good, are they not, Stan?
Absolutely. And they're a rivalry team. It doesn't seem like it today because they wiped them out. And there were a couple of injuries. Bowers are tied in. They couldn't throw. But forget that. Remember what you thought right before kickoff. Raiders, Chiefs, it usually brings out the best in teams. Oh, it's a division opponent. I believe all division opponents step up and play other favorite division opponents very well. So don't give me that now after the game. The Chiefs took them apart because Pete Carroll's a pretty good coach. And when the Chiefs went up 7-0 and he had a choice of what he wanted to do, go for 4th down and medium, shouldn't do it. But he's like, no, let's get field position because they can't do this again. And he did it a 3rd time, and unbelievably, the Chiefs rolled downfield. 80-plus touchdown drives do not happen in the NFL, Kevin, even with good teams. But the Chiefs are on a pace of scoring a touchdown on about 50% of their possessions. They're a low-possession football team. They keep the ball. They convert on 3rd down. They started that last year. But there was none of that on this possession. These 3 touchdown drives, they were hitting it. It wasn't 4 yards, 3 yards, and convert on 3rd down. They just controlled the whole game. And, Kevin, this is no surprise to me because we're watching an NFL that is as wide open as I've ever seen. Pete Rozelle was the greatest commissioner ever in any sport. Baseball used to be the biggest thing, and we're about ready to play in the World Series, and no one's talking about it.
Right.
That's what he dreamed about. Baseball was the big thing. Pete Rozelle said, I want parity. I want to take the NFL to a whole nother level. Fortunately, teams like the New York Giants, who could have hoarded in all the money like the Yankees might do in baseball, said, no, we're going to make Green Bay as profitable as we are. We're going to spread this thing out. And you look at the competitiveness now, I see no one is playing Super Bowl level football. Nobody. And it's hard pressed to say, where do you look? And 2 weeks ago, I started saying Kansas City Chiefs are the best team in football.
I was just going to ask you. There's people all over the country that would argue with that right now and say there is no parity because here come the Chiefs again, and we're sick of the Chiefs, and they've been dominating the sport.
Well, today, officially, if the playoffs started today, the Chiefs would not be in the playoffs.
I know. It's amazing.
So that's what's crazy.
It's incredible. But I'm going to ask you an insane question that we wouldn't have thought of a month ago, and it sounds dumb today because they're 4-3. Do you believe this can be the best Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes Chiefs team ever?
It has every capability.
It sure does.
I want to be respectful.
Isn't this the kind of team that get the playoffs and beat people by 17?
Yeah, because the defense is so good. They've been leading with the defense in the last couple of years. No disrespect to Patrick Mahomes,
right,
because he was killing it last year. Scrambling, running, taking the whole team on his back. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, I'll give them all the love you ever want. But they were more of a defensive team than an offensive team the last couple of years. The best Chiefs teams weren't quite as good as defense, but Tyreek Hill was as bad-ass wide receiver as you're seeing out there. Travis Kelce as a youngster, Patrick Mahomes learning and growing, but still a little wild and crazy. Those were the unbelievable Chiefs teams. But this defense, along with the new version of wide receivers and Travis Kelce waking up and playing better, they have every potential to be the best of any of the Kansas City Chiefs teams. What's amazing to the NFL, it's like Pete Rozelle set this up. They're 4-3. Right. So there's a lot of work. You have to care about every game.
I couldn't believe yesterday how many passes I saw Mahomes make behind the line of scrimmage. The short ones, okay, where he just rips it like 78 miles an hour, something right at you. And with the exception of Worthy, I don't think Worthy has very good hands. He caught one that hit him in the face yesterday, for crying out loud. But he got it, I guess. That counts. I don't think Kelsey's hands are as good as they used to be. But these other guys, that 24, Rashard Smith, Hollywood Brown, Juju, Rice, the ball just so soft in their hands, it sticks. I can't believe the hands they've assembled. We always want to talk about size and speed and jumping up and making the great catch. To me, in this offense, when Mahomes just ripped that one to 24 yesterday, like it was there before anybody was across the line of scrimmage, and he catches it and runs like 13 yards. These hands of these receivers are phenomenal. Am I off base on this, or are they better than most teams at this?
No, really good. And it goes all the way down to Noah Gray. He's not going to get many touches, but what does he do? Snags it out of the air like no big deal. Rashard Smith's a great pickup for the Chiefs because running back is a weakness of the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe. The running game still is the one thing that doesn't scare anybody. So if we're going to talk about why the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl, we will talk about the running game.
But they're passing it like their running game, right?
He is a wide receiver who learned to be a running back only his senior year in college, Kevin, after transferring. So everything you want him to do in the passing game is more natural than the running game, but his speed and quickness and the fact that he's not a down after down back, being the next guy as a running back is a big advantage. So, one big thing you got to think about, if you're the lead back and you go get pounded and pounded, then the other guy comes in and runs for 7 yards and it looks easy, you say, oh, he's better. No. They're not, Kevin. The guys who take the pounding should be the starters. But when he comes in, the flash that he brings and the speed and the passing game is where Andy Reid wants to go. I mean, he knows that the NFL is about winning the passing game. And right now, the weapons, Juju Smith-Schuster is maybe your fourth or fifth best option right now. Are you kidding me? That's how good they are.
And he's a lethal blocker.
And Patrick's making decisions so well, so quickly. If you just have him mic'd up, now you may not be able to have him mic'd up anymore because he cussed as a strategy yesterday.
What I was going to ask you. I've never heard you use that word. You're not a profane man in any way. You're a man of great faith and principle and morals. And I think you're going to put football. I'm going to ask this question because I just really, inquiring minds want to know, Stan. Are you okay with that play?
I'm okay with the play. I thought you were going to ask me, would I have said?
Would you be okay if you're the head coach and Nagy comes to you and says, no, you got to use the foul language. It's got to be part of the deal here. It has to be part of the deal. Oh, I've torn you, haven't I?
I doubt I would do it.
Okay. Would you say, let's find a better way than using these words?
I will be a great actor for you.
Right.
And I will it was brilliant what they did.
Right.
Because so many teams come up there and it's so lame. They move, hot. 42 set. No one jumps and everyone goes, it's over. And he acts like it's over. And it's truly great for Patrick to say it.
Of course.
Because he talks more on the field than any quarterback in the league.
And every one of those defensive linemen's like, okay, they're listening to
Because he'll just go, 42's coming.
Yeah.
Zero blitz. He calls the stuff out.
Yeah.
And talks to people very easily. And this time, it's classic. When he said it, I go, that is so pure. When he goes, this never works. He said, this never effing works. And then he went back and snapped the ball real quick. Totally it tricked the Raiders.
The single most.
They totally let down. Like,
how demoralizing is that?
Chiefs are just shacking with you.
Oh, just messing with you now. This is more swagger than they've ever had. I'm telling you, they're playing better football the last 3 weeks than I've ever seen them play.
And they're back to having fun. The pressure's off. Last year they played as an organization that said, three-peat. We got to do it. Let's not lose. And they had miracle wins, but it was really, sooner or later, you're going to find out it was not a great football team.
Right.
It was a really good football team who now to win.
It is right now.
But this team is better than last year's team already.
All right, we got a couple minutes left. Let me ask you about Missouri's double overtime win against Auburn over the weekend. The Tigers only have one loss, and now I think College Game Day is going to be in Nashville for Missouri-Vanderbilt this week. Missouri-Vanderbilt is College Game Day. Unbelievable what's happening in the SEC, and where do the Missouri Tigers fit in?
The Tigers have a chance to fit in right against the elite. And if you look at it now with Missouri ranked 14th or 15th, depending on what poll you're in, with a new college football playoff with 11 teams, 4 conference champions are going to get into the college football playoff from the big schools. Okay? That's easy. But then there's going to be a 5th school that comes from the smaller conferences. Okay, so there's 5 teams and there's 7 after that. To simplify this whole thing, if you look at the rankings, the top 11 teams are who are going to be in the college football playoff. So Missouri is sitting right outside of that group, and there's a lot of SEC teams, 5 of them in front of them, and they get to play Vanderbilt. So if they keep a clean slate, they're going to be in the college football playoff. Now, will they get the love if they have a second loss? I doubt it. They don't have the reputation. They don't seem like they're a football power.
What if it's to A&M?
They'll use that.
I mean,
it's a possibility. But you're going against the Alabamas of the world,
right? The
Georgias of the world. What happens if Georgia loses another game? Missouri's sitting with 2 losses in Georgia. They're going to find a reason to say there's more NFL players on those big name teams.
Yeah.
And Vanderbilt's going to have the same problem.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That
and
makes
South
this
Carolina,
a really big game this week.
Super big game.
Yeah.
But what an awesome game to have as a super big game, because everything that Vanderbilt is, they're resourceful and everything else, but they're not as good as Missouri physically. Now, when you're playing Alabama, they have championship pedigree, the coaching, the players. It is hard to beat Alabama, and Missouri could have done it, but that's a whole different monster. Yeah. You think of Missouri as a little bit of an underdog wanting to get into the college football playoff? not this week. Vanderbilt's by far the underdog.
Yeah.
And Diego Pavia is doing an amazing job. I'm a Heisman Trophy voter, and I don't get into the Heisman Trophy voting. At this point, I'm like, show me the whole season.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick today, I don't know why I wouldn't have him number one. What he's done this year is absolutely incredible.
Dude,
they just beat LSU.
How about Alabama's quarterback out of nowhere and how good
Simpson's
he is?
awesome. Now, that's an
unbelievable.
NFL quarterback
Yeah,
right there.
I think you're right. Okay, and finally, we got about a minute left here. KU K-State Saturday, the Sunflower Showdown. Vegas sees this as a coin toss. KU's a slight favorite because they're playing at home. How do you see this one?
So far, that's what I think as well. I think K-State, if they played to the best of their ability, are a more solid team across the board and has a higher upside because they were thought of as a team who could win the Big 12 at the start of the year. They haven't played like that throughout the year, but they played better the last 3 games. So they have the first choice to go win the game. But Jalen Daniels is the big variable in this game. He's the one guy, 6th-year starter, at home, can do everything. He's hard to sack. He's a good thrower. He's a great runner. He's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but he could go win the game for KU. Generally, just think of it as an even game. K-State's used to winning against KU. That matters to players. When things go bad, you look at the other side, you haven't beat them forever. It gets in your head, but KU's at home. So it evens it all back out. They have 2 weeks to get ready. There's a lot at stake because neither team can afford to lose this game. K-State fans will not accept being 3-5 right now and losing to Kansas. And KU thought things were going great. They beat K-State. If they lose this game, they're 4-4, and the rest of the schedule even puts them in danger of being bowl eligible. So both teams are fighting for bowl eligibility, state pride, and everything else.
All right, you're hosting the show next Monday. You ready?
I just wonder if the listeners are ready.
They're
Because
ready. They're ready. It's game.
I'm going
game
to
day.
talk about sports the whole hour.
Folks, it's game day. The Chiefs are playing
It's
the Commanders
Chiefs game
that
day.
night.
That's why I said I would come in and do it. Hopefully, people won't be mad at me because I won't. Here's the only take I'll have for this listening. I have one take for this listening audience.
Wait.
I have one take.
I've known you a long time. Has anybody ever been mad at you? Wives don't count.
Well, my wife hasn't been mad at me, I don't think. No.
Might be true.
No.
That might be true.
I hope not. I have no reason. I'm not trying to elbow anybody.
Now let's do the truth meter. Has anybody ever been mad at me?
Oh, yes. But that's why you're a popular host. And people are going to think this is so boring. Here's my one take for this group, though. I heard someone say, talking about the past, that the Washington Commanders, when they won those Super Bowls, and I go, no. The Washington Commanders have never won a Super Bowl.
Washington Redskins.
The Washington Redskins, because I'm a big Cowboys fan in addition to the Chiefs. And so the Cowboys-Redskins rivalry is one of the greatest, not Cowboys-Commanders.
They need to bring it back.
Redskins-Cowboys. So this audience understands when I say Cowboys-Redskins or the Redskins won the Super Bowl.
There you go.
They know it's true. They won't be mad at me.
And Shawnee
but that's
Mission-
about as far as I can go. Sports politics.
And Shawnee Mission North is still the Indians. So that's
Should
just
be.
the way it is. All good. Stan, thank you for coming in today, and we look forward to hearing it next week. Thanks
Okay,
for helping
thank
me
you,
out,
Kevin.
man. Appreciate it. Stan Weber on All Things Football right here on KCMO Talk Radio. Well, quite a weekend. I took Mark Van Sickle's great advice on Saturday and played TCU, and I played the line, hit it 2 ways, and my lock of the week was the Giants getting 7.5 points against the Broncos, and that was always covered all day. We didn't have any nervous moments at all. How good were we this week?
Man, that was great. I loved seeing that.
Yeah.
For both of us and for the listeners. Hopefully you guys played along with
For
us.
sure. We're 9-5 on the season.
Yep.
That's not going to lose anybody any money. We're doing good. That's incredible. All right, let me start with this. I know you're on the edge of your seat for the Seattle Mariners tonight, Game 7 of the American League Championship Series at Toronto. You're the eternal optimist, but I don't feel great about this. Prove me wrong.
It's going to be a tough game. Here's the thing. The Mariners now have the experience. They won Game 5 against the Tigers in that, whatever that
Epic.
15 inning was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was incredible. So they have the experience to get past this Game 7. Now, it's going to be tough. It's in Toronto. That game was in Seattle, of course. So it's like, it's tough. I think they're going to win it, though.
Think they're going to win
I do
tonight.
think they're going to win it.
And nobody's beating the Dodgers, right?
I don't think so.
Shohei
That'll be
Ohtani.
tough.
The guy pitched 7 into the 7th inning, had 10 strikeouts and 3 home runs.
It's crazy.
Greatest postseason performance ever in one game, I think. Did you see this about the Louvre in Paris? Most famous museum on earth?
I didn't see it.
It has been robbed.
Oh.
They went to the Napoleon room. They used a cherry picker. You know what that is? Like the power guys on the power? To go up through a window. And then once inside, they had grabbers. They were like smashing windows and grabbing things. They did it while the museum was open.
That's pretty bold.
They thought they were workers.
Oh.
3 dudes. They say it is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They got a French crown jewel that's priceless. They stole all kinds of stuff. Then they took off their cherry picker and got on electric scooters and left. and got away with it.
Here's the thing. They can't sell that stuff because everybody knows what it is. They'll get arrested, right?
I think you sell it very privately because the person who owns it doesn't want anybody to know until they're dead.
True.
After you die, you leave it, and your family has it, whatever. I don't know. Truckers are getting rich right now. We love this story. Have you heard how this is happening, Mark?
Signing bonuses?
That's true. There's definitely signing bonuses. A trucker, but if you own your own truck, you bid out your own jobs. And they'll say, hey, will you take this from Kansas City to San Diego? And I don't know what the distance was, but a trucker was interviewed, and they did this big piece on him, and he said, listen, I called a job they were offering $1,000 for, and he says, I'm not going to do it for $1,000. I'll take $1,900. They said, okay, come get it. Like instantly, almost double what they asked. They asked the trucker, how is this so easy to do? He said, Trump has cracked down on all the foreign drivers, and you have to speak English now or these companies will not hire you. The number of qualified truckers is shrinking because of what Trump's doing with immigration and the trucking industry. And that is taking the salaries through the roof.
So if you speak English, you're American, go be a trucker.
I'm all for them. How about this one? Space debris hit a United Airlines flight. They think, haven't proven it yet, Denver to Los Angeles. Remember last week we mentioned Pete Hegseth plane that cracked the windshield?
Oh, yeah.
And had to turn around and go back? Mm-hmm. Same similar thing here. United Jet from Denver to L.A., right up in the upper corner where the bracket and the frame is around the glass. They drop down to 25,000 feet. They land in Salt Lake City. Everything's fine. They look at it and it made a scorch mark like it was really, really, really hot. They believe it was space debris. Rarest of the rare.
So we got to look out for space stuff falling out of the sky now.
And I'm trying to figure out how much the beer vendor makes at Arrowhead Stadium now that's in the concourse that has the swipe thing where they hold the little tip thing up for you. Mm-hmm. I talked to the lady yesterday when I was getting one. She said she gets to keep 100% of the tips. You think she made $1,000 yesterday?
I bet.
I bet at least. Beers are $14. That's almost $3 for every beer. Unreal. The Vince Show's coming up next.